Okay, so we're back. Our guest in studio today is one of our sponsors, a very, very, very good friend of the show, Stephen Kushian from Pacific Plate Brewing Company in Monrovia, California, in the United States. Big Liverpool supporter. He'll be discussing the game with us today.
Thanks for having me on the show.
Oh, no problem. Anytime you could be here, you're always welcome. Well, firstly, Stephen and Jimmy, the Liverpool attack has been pretty strong 5 games into the season. Let's talk about Henderson's game winner. Do you think it was a fluke, or can Henderson show that kind of quality more consistently?
I don't think it was a fluke. Henderson is a quality player. He's an emotional player. He's a Gerrard-type leader. And I expect that we're going to see more of those great goals from Henderson this season. I think the offense on Liverpool is very powerful this season, and they just might be the best in England, if not the world, on offense.
Well, Jimmy, what do you think? Well, I would hope they could rely on Henderson for at least a few goals this year. That was quite a wonder strike. It had to be perfect to beat Courtois. But I commented last week on the shot he took against Chelsea near the end of the match. It was nowhere near the goal. I don't know what to think of Henderson. Sometimes his shots are on target. He had plenty of time for that one against Chelsea. It was a really nice goal. I hope he can get his shot going, because he's been playing more defensively this year. But if they could get 8 or 9 goals out of him, that would be so good, so helpful. Well, let's take a minute to discuss the Liverpool defense. Yet to hold a clean sheet this year. Held down the lead for 30 minutes, though, at the end, once Chelsea pegged one back and came away with the 3 points. Do you see any improvement in the Liverpool defense since the opener at the Emirates, or should we expect to see more high-scoring affairs this year?
Well, Kehan, they made one mistake. Matip and Lallana went sliding in. They both missed. Henderson was way too far back. But you can't expect to go down to Stamford Bridge in front of all those fans and come away with a clean sheet. I think giving up only 1 goal was a great success for the Liverpool defense, especially since they scored 2 and came away with 3 points. I think if we read too much into clean sheets, we might miss the forest for the trees. The important part is that we came away with 3 points there.
Jimmy? Well, I completely agree. It's all I've been saying for the past 3 weeks. All that matters is the points. It doesn't matter. You could win by 3 goals, 4 goals, 5 goals, or 1 goal. In the end, all that matters is 3 points. They came away with the 3 points. I can't remember the last time goal differential decided the title. I mean, really, all they should be thinking about is the points. They got the win. It was a nervy ending to the game, but it was a massive improvement. It was the first time they showed they can hold the lead in a close match against a tough opponent on the road. I was very impressed. Very impressed. Okay, we have to discuss it. Every show it comes up. Daniel Sturridge comes off about 2/3 of the way into the match. Looked to have picked up a knock. Klopp says there's nothing wrong with him, but who knows what to believe when it comes to Sturridge fitness reports. If he has to take time off, what effect will this have on the team going forward? Will this put a damper on what has seemed like a powerful offensive force this season?
Well, like you said, Sturridge is quality, but he's not always healthy. But the team made great transfers in the summer window. Sadio Mane has stood out specifically as a powerful offensive force to be reckoned with. If Sturridge is healthy, it's a big bonus for the team. The soccer IQ that Sturridge has, just his ability to find those tight spaces and score goals, is unmatched. But he's not the only option on the Liverpool offense. And I think if he has to take some time off due to injury, Liverpool can still score 3 and 4 goals per game.
Well, I like this guy, Steve. I agree with you again. Honestly, I think Klopp has made a big point of it to make this team a team. It's not just a Sturridge, it's a Liverpool Football Club. And this team, especially the front 4, have been firing on all cylinders, no matter who it is. And without Sturridge, I mean, of course you want Sturridge on the pitch. He's the best player they've got, most skilled player. He helps tremendously. But they're playing well. He hasn't scored a goal in the last 2 games. Doesn't mean he hasn't played well, but they're definitely finding goals in other places. And it's not season ending as it would have been last season if Sturridge were to go down. But let's hope he's all right, because he's definitely a very skilled player and they need him. They need him if they want to contend for the title, but they can do well without him as well. Okay, and finally, Jurgen Klopp. He finally took off an attacker and brought on Lucas to hold down the lead near the end of the game. Do you think he's changing his ways a bit? And how do you see this playing out for Liverpool going forward for the rest of the season?
Klopp changing his ways. I don't know. That might be blasphemy. Klopp is the man. He's the motivator. The players love him. The fans love him. He brings life to the team. In terms of tactics, you can criticize him for being too offensive-minded, but I think that's the heart and soul of this team, is the offense. And if they're going to give up 1 or 2 goals per game, it's okay as long as they continue to score 3 and 4. I think he was thinking like a traveling team. He was thinking like an away team. He said, we're playing Chelsea at Stamford Bridge. Is it really realistic right now to try and go out there and attack and get another goal? Or do I do the sensible thing and put on a defender? I don't think it's always going to be a case. I think that when we can run up the score against opponents, we will. Who knows? Goal differential might be the deciding factor in the Premier League this season.
Interesting. Jimmy Jingles, what do you think of that? Well, if the goal differential is what ends up deciding the Premier League this season, well, I might just have to change my name from Jimmy Jingles, because Liverpool are going to take this by miles and miles of points. However many points that is. Miles. No, just kidding though. But it was definitely a landmark moment for Klopp to not bring on a forward to replace Coutinho. He brought on Lucas. So it was definitely a statement, like this match has to end at this scoreline, and they need to get out there with the 3 points. And he did. They did. So that was a major success. And what was it a turning point for Klopp? Like my good friend Steve here says, who knows? I mean, maybe if he's playing against smaller sides and he sees an opening to crush people, to crush teams, it could happen. But for the most part, against Premier League sides, there's 20 good teams, very good teams, and they're not going to be able to just roll through and destroy everybody. So I think it's going to have to start being a pattern where they squeak out games like this and just rack up points if they want to be up there at the end. Okay, and finally we got to start looking forward to next week. Good win against Chelsea, tough top of the table team. We got Hull City next week at home. Can I get your predictions for this match?
Recently promoted championship team. Burnley gave us trouble. I don't think Liverpool is going to make the same mistake twice. 4-0 Liverpool.
Wow, 4-0. Jimmy Jingles, how about you? Well, I wish I could have the same optimism, but this is the type of matchup that has stumbled Liverpool for the past season and this season. Like you said, against Burnley, it was a tough matchup because these teams don't want to play with Liverpool. Hull City is not going to play with Liverpool. They're going to sit back, they're going to park the bus and try to get out of there nothing. And it's going to be tough because we don't know if Sturridge is going to play, first of all. But they need to squeak out a goal. I'm not as optimistic. I think they will get a goal or two. 2-0 Liverpool. But it's going to be another tough game. This is might possibly be a tougher game than the Chelsea game. But 3 points just the same. They all count equal. You don't get more points for beating Chelsea or Hull City. So important. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen. I have confidence that Liverpool will win the match, but I don't think it will be a trouncing like my good friend Mr. Brewmaster Steve says. But I hope so. Alright, well, thank you so much for your thoughts, gentlemen. We got to get our scouting report for next week's game against Hull City. We sent our traveling correspondent, Ahmad Kulak, over there to see what he can gather up for us. Ahmad, can you hear us? Yes, Ahmad here. I am here in St. James's Park. Ahmad, you know we're playing Hull City this week, not Newcastle.
Newcastle's not even in the Premier League. What's wrong with this guy?
What? You're telling to me Newcastle get relegated again? Oh my God. Oh my God. Listen, I assume you're sending me to stay in a hotel in Hull City, so we're to play Newcastle next. You don't believe the hotels they're making me stay in when they sending me to these places. So I assume they're just to be cheap again. Oh my God. But listen, this is my bad. I did not look at schedule. I assume wrong. Next week, I will have report ready good. Man, I was so excited this week to be played to Newcastle, to see former great Liverpool manager Rafa Benitez again, but I guess they're not in Premier League. Oof. All right, well, thanks, Ahmad. Okay, well, that's all we have for you this week. We'll be back next Wednesday to discuss two matches, League Cup match against Championship side Derby County midweek, and Premier League clash against Hull City this Saturday. That's the big one. I would like to thank our good friend and sponsor, Stephen Kushian from Pacific Plate, for gracing us with his presence at our humble studios. You're welcome here anytime.
Thank you so much, Kehan. It was my pleasure.
All right, well, we'll see you next week.